The way I see is this, whatever that you want in life, doesn't matter what it is, capital, resources, contacts, anything that you want, other people already have them right now.
All right, guys, we're back for another one, and this is the one I was probably most anticipating when I got here. Could not wait to come and sit with Dan Lok, best-selling author of 13 books. If you just didn't catch our last episode where we talk about Dan's story, how he came from literally nothing, found himself digging his way into $150,000 of debt, so came in from a negative position, and then built a multi-million-dollar empire. And literally, we're here at the ClickFunnels event today to accept awards for being big earners through ClickFunnels. And I look up to this guy. He's become a personal hero of mine. I'm also a participant in his HTC program, which we're going to be talking more and more about. If you're curious and you just can't wait, make sure you check the link in the description below. But guys, today what we want to do is really focus in on what you call the wealth triangle or the wealth pyramid. And this is something that has made so much frickin' sense to me because I've got to estimate 80, 90% of those of you that take advantage of our free one-on-one coaching session, which you can reserve by visiting the description below as well. You come into our conversations initially and you can't wait to get involved in things like real estate investing. We talk a lot about real estate on this channel. I like real estate investing a lot. It's a passion of mine. I've been in the industry a long time and about to close on another investment property, getting into the short-term rental game myself. But the only reason I'm investing in what many people argue is a pretty crappy time to be a buyer, right? This is not arguably a buyer's market, is because I have set up so many other revenue streams. We make so much flipping money elsewhere that it's easy to get in and buy, even in a crappy buyer's market, and ensure that we won't fail. Ensure that we will have the cash flow. Ensure that even if things go sideways, there's so much wiggle room within our loan to values and within our net take-home cash flow that we can adjust and still be safe. And so I want to focus a little bit on that. But why don't you just kind of start off by telling everybody what is the wealth pyramid? What is the wealth triangle? So with the wealth triangle, how I discovered, I didn't have a name for it back then, right? It was just, at first, I was focusing on my skill set, trying to earn more money, right? And just like most people, I was trying different business ideas. And I think most people get into business for the wrong reason, right? Because they see someone on social media, they hear these stories, and they thought, you know what? I hate my freaking job. I don't like what I do. I have no money. I see someone post on Instagram and they have this lifestyle. They're entrepreneurs. I'm going to be an entrepreneur, right? I always say that the worst time to start a business is when you have no money. And the worst time to start a business is when you're desperate. Because, as you know, Matthew, business takes time. It takes a tremendous amount of effort to build something. No doubt. It's not like a paycheck. Hey, 2 weeks, I'm going to get a check. A month, I'm going to get a check. Doesn't matter, right? But when you're building a business, it might take you a long time. So imagine a triangle, and I want you to think about there are 3 parts to it. The first part is what I call high income skill. Now, I define high income skill as a skill that can make you $10,000 or more per month, right? 6-figure income, basically. Now, notice I said high income skill, not a high income job. Okay, big difference. That's a very big difference, right? When you're working for a corporation, even though you're making, let's say, 6-figure in salary, that's not a high income skill, it's a high income job. Because who determines how much you get paid? Right, I was going to say, the difference is the control, right? The control, right, correct. Because the company is saying, the manager is saying, hey, you're worth $10,000 a month. Okay. Or tomorrow you're worth nothing and you're fired. You're fired, right? You're not in control. So that's a high income job. Because sometimes a lot of people come to me, well, then I'm making $10,000 as a middle management. Does that count? I said, no. I'm talking about high income skill. Because high income job is not transferable. High income skill is. Okay, that's a big difference. Okay, so that's the distinction. That's right. You can transfer the skill and you can work for anybody. Any industries, right? And with a high income skill, the difference is who dictates how much you get paid? The marketplace. So the marketplace is saying, hey, right now, I believe the value that you offer with the skill set is worth this much. Okay, cool. But the minute you can improve the value that you can deliver, right? How much you can deliver more value to the marketplace, or the ability to close or charge more money.
suddenly you can make more money.
Right, so it's a performance-based potential.
That's right.
Versus, we're not focusing on income anymore.
That's right.
Commission.
Commission, right? Results.
Right, results. Yeah.
Results. On the other hand, think about, let me give you another example. What about high income profession? That's the difference. So example, let's say I am a real estate agent.
Yes.
Okay. I'm making 6-figure a year. Well, then does that count as a high income skill? The answer is no. The reason is because it's industry driven.
Yes, okay.
So let's say we're in Nashville right now. Let's say I'm a 6-figure real estate agent in Nashville. Cool. The minute let's say I move to New York, I'm starting from scratch.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
My license and all that needs to be, right?
The database.
Database, all that's different.
Empty,
so, or suddenly, I don't want to do real estate, I want to do insurance. That is not transferable. You guys start from scratch again, right? So it's very industry driven. That's a high income profession. I'm talking about high income skill.
Yeah.
Example, back then my first high income skill was copywriting. Right? That's my first high income skill, was making $10,000 a month. So I could write for this industry.
Right.
I could write for that
You
industry.
could be in real estate, you could be in automotive.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't
I could
right.
be. I would stay in this city. I could go to that city.
Yeah.
It won't matter.
Yeah, universally applicable.
That's right. And one more thing, the distinction. I want to spend a little bit of time because I want you to get it. High income job, high income profession is very linear. Versus high income skill, you can stack it up. So remember the story I was sharing with you. So my first high income skill was copywriting, right? My second high income skill was consulting. So I was stacking on my success. So
then you go into public speaking, right?
That's
then you
right.
start to get paid for public
That's
speaking.
right. That's
Everything
right.
leads into the
leads
next
to another,
step.
right? And one thing makes another one stronger. So that's the first piece, high income skill. So with high income skill, you are not, money's not making you money yet. You're still trading hours for dollars, but for high dollars, right? You're trading your expertise, your skill, your knowledge for money. That's the first part. The second part is what I call scalable business.
Yeah, okay.
Now, this is what you love, it's cash flow, right?
That's right.
This is profit.
Right.
Right. So now you have people, systems making you money. Now notice, not just any business, because you could open up a restaurant.
Yeah.
That's,
It's not scalable.
yeah, it's not scalable, right? And it's large overhead,
expense model,
fixed
right?
expense, huge amount of overhead, renovation, all that costs money. It's not very scalable. Scalable business means that you can scale the business without a ton of infrastructure, right? Example, software company, that's a scalable business. An internet business, e-commerce, that's a scalable business, right? So that's that. Now you have your business that's making you money. That's throwing off like cash. Then you have the third part, which is what you teach a lot. High return investments. Now we're talking about real estate. Now, the high return investments, I define high return investments as investments that could generate a 10% return year in and year out.
Yeah.
Okay? So some people ask me, well, Dan, what about cryptocurrency? Do you consider that high return investments?
Well, if it's performing well.
If it's performing well, it is. If it's not, then it's just
high risk.
It's a high risk,
game,
right?
yeah.
And that's more. You're betting on the appreciation, right? That's you have capital gain investor and you have cash flow investor. Right? I'm a cash flow investor. So high return investments. Now you look at all these three things. So your high income skill gives you stability. It gives you income, and income is king. Your business gives you profit, right? Your cash flow. And then your high return investments builds your net worth. You talk to wealthy people, they don't talk about income, they talk about what's your net worth, right? But the problem is this, most people, they try to jump into high return investments.
They might have this, right?
Yeah.
They might have a good income stream.
Yeah, but
they may not have a scalable business, and they try and leapfrog over to here.
They want to buy a piece of property, they over leverage, right? And then suddenly something happens. The tenant moved out or the toilet broke or whatever it is,
Right.
right? Now they're like, oh my God.
Right.
Because they don't have something that keeps giving them cash to invest. You look at the top, I'm talking about like the Forbes 500. right? Some of the wealthiest people, most of them, some make their money in real estate, but most of them hold their wealth in real estate. They usually have something like a business or multiple businesses that make them a lot of money.
100%.
Right?
I feel like I'm partially to blame for this because we've brought content onto this channel talking about creative ways of getting involved in something like real estate investing where you don't have to have a lot of resources to do it. And all we're doing is showing that there's a way to take action, that there's no room for excuses. And I think part of the issue is people get the wrong idea. They think that they don't have anything, but then they can get right to here into this investing and it will be the solution. It's not the solution, it's the end game. And that is such an important thing for people to understand and distinguish the difference about. And that's why I really admire the HTC concept. And again, I think it's easy to go online. I mean, I was doing my own due diligence. You guys know here on the channel, I don't bring just anybody on. The fact that Dan is crushing it online, I think you're at, what, like 1.3 million on YouTube already now, right? You're flying, man. I watch Social Blade. I've got you on. All day I'm just looking at my numbers compared to him.
Monitoring.
It's crazy.
Maybe it's spying on me.
2,000-3,000 subs a day, guys. I mean, he's sailing. And it's so impressive, and yet, to me, that's not what earns a spot here on my channel. What earns a spot here on my channel is something that's effective, that works. I want to be a resource of resources to people, and I want to experiment and guinea pig programs before I introduce them to you guys, which is what I've been doing the last 7 weeks. I told you guys a couple months ago that I was going to go through the program and just explore it for myself. Even though I think a lot of the concepts when it comes to high ticket closing and selling, I'm already achieving a lot of that, right?
Yes.
Most people that are involved in the program are not already earning multiple 7 figures by selling. I am. But I go into this and I think, man, for those of you that are really trying to develop yourselves, this type of structure is needed. This type of community is needed. The ability to involve yourself with people that are practicing the same things and going through the process and the system is key to the success. And because there's so many people online, I can go online and find people that are skeptical about you. I'm sure you have people in your own family that are skeptical about you, right? If not the most skeptical. The same thing with me. I was talking with one of your producers, Steven, right? He's saying the same thing about his family. They think, some of them think he's nuts for working with you. They want him to be in real estate, right? It's all about mindset, guys. And if you are looking for a way to step-by-step yourself into better high income skills so that you can then figure out where your gifts and talents will lead to a scalable business so that you can eventually get into real estate in a safe way, no matter what the economy is doing, then this is why you have to consider people like Dan and his team and their program in order to actually see results. And so that's what I took away, I think, most from HTC is, first of all, you better be good at sales. Wouldn't you agree? Like, as a high
doesn't
income
matter
skill,
what it is that you do. Like, there's so many high income skills, and I believe the number one high income skill is closing.
But how can you argue that, say, copywriting, but that's not sales? It's all sales. Doesn't it all boil down to sales?
It's all sales. It's all communication.
Yes, right? Exactly.
So you think about copywriting.
Filling a need.
That's persuasion in print, using the written words, right? But closing is one-on-one.
Yeah.
But you think about the real estate example, right? And I'll circle back to the skill. Let's say you get into real estate and you leverage, you be very creative, you buy your first piece of property. Then what?
Well, then you have an extra $500 a month.
I have a good friend of mine, good friend of mine. He owns 22 units, okay? Paper rich, cash poor.
Right, and the second something goes wrong, right? One toilet, one vacancy, one bad tenant, one little situation,
one little thing,
the whole thing unravels.
One little thing, right? You have one unit that's got a tenant from hell. Oh my God.
Then all 22 are a problem now, right? Because then he has to take from these units to afford to fix this unit, right? It's all one big package.
It's a one big package. But versus if you have more income coming in, more cash flow coming in, you can buy better properties. You can hire a professional manager. You can get into, instead of maybe not single family, depends on where you are, right? You can get into bigger deal, commercial type deal. It's a different game, right? So you think about high income skill. Why closing is so important? Maybe let's say you have have a job right now. You're working at a job is decent. I have a lot of students who come to me because they have a decent job, but they want a side income stream, right? They're making good money, but they want some additional income coming in.
Yeah, they want to diversify.
They want to diversify and also increases the amount of money they make. Or I have a lot of entrepreneurs come to me where they have their own business, but they're not generating enough sales because they cannot close. They don't have the ability to close. Think about this. In business, I don't care what it is that you do. If you have your employees, you're closing because you need to sell your employee on your vision, right?
100%.
If your customers, guess what? You're closing. If your vendors, you're closing. You want better terms, you're closing.
You have an office space, you had to close.
You're
to the
closing.
landlord.
You're closing. You're single.
You're
You're closing.
Exactly.
Okay. You want to get a date? You're single. You don't have a date. Hey, you gotta work on your closing skill.
100%. You're
Right?
collaborating.
It's
We're
closing. It's all closing. Video.
Right.
It's still closing. So that is, it's not even a business skill. I think it's a life skill.
Okay.
Because the way I see is this: whatever that you want in life, doesn't matter what it is, capital, resources, contacts, anything that you want. Other people already have them. Right now, someone somewhere already have what you want.
You just have to prove that you deserve. What they have.
And you can articulate and communicate your value proposition.
Yes.
So in exchange of that, you want to go to the bank, you want them to loan you money? Yeah, they look at your credit score. But at the end of the day, it's that one-on-one communication. So
to some extent.
It affects everything that you do. Everything that you do. So most people, they struggle with money. I always say, well, how's your closing ability? Usually not very good, right? There is absolutely no relationship between being good at what you do and getting paid. There's a huge relationship between being good at what you do, being able to close, and getting paid.
The difference being results.
Results.
Which is why athletes get a lot of money, right? Because you have an athlete that practices and works hard and puts in more hours than everybody else,
That's right.
but can't complete a pass.
That's right.
Guess who's not getting a paycheck?
You're not getting paid.
Right.
Right? And there are a lot of athletes, maybe they're very good at what they do, but maybe they don't understand closing or they don't understand personal branding. The ones who makes the most amount of money is the one who understands personal branding, which is a whole different topic, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right. Wow. Well, guys, this has definitely been a paradigm shift for me over the last, well, I don't even know, countless months now that I've been studying Dan's material. It's really sort of awakened how I come to you guys with the message, because what I don't want to do is lead any of you down the wrong path, which is why during our one-on-one conversations, so many of you have heard me arguing that now's not the right time for you to start getting into real estate. But we can work our way to getting into real estate. And one of the things that you should be starting with is how to be a high ticket closer, where you can close for anything you need, for anything you want. And when you end up with that scalable cash flow, you'll love this story. I have this friend, Art Vasquez, and he's done, I don't know, north of 600 some odd transactions in the last couple of years.
Nice.
Yeah, but he has this saying. He says, you want to know what the biggest aspirin is in the world? He always puts his hands up. Want to know what the biggest aspirin in the world is, Matt? Cash flow. And it's true, because you can hire everything else out. You can evaporate all of your problems. Your buddy with 22 units would have no trouble, no problems at all if he just had that cash flow. And the way to do that is to get that high income skill, build out that scalable business so you can lead yourself then to the promised land, which is a high net worth, lots of good investments, lots of great assets, and that cash flow, that residual income coming in each and every month. Guys, that's what this channel is all about. If you haven't yet subscribed, now's the time. Make sure there's a D behind that E, and turn on those post notifications by hitting the bell. Just want to thank you, Dan, for being here on the channel. Can't wait to do a few more episodes. So guys, make sure you stay tuned. We're going to be launching them continuously. If you haven't yet checked out the high ticket closer program yet, we'll put a link in the description below. You got to look at it. You've got to take yourself seriously. If you were going to invest in just one thing, it's got to be yourself. Stop looking at real estate. Invest in yourself so that we can go out and make lots and lots and lots more money so that we can then invest in real estate together. Guys, we'll look forward to seeing you on the next video. Until then, drop a like, throw some comments, make it a great day, and take care.